Demolition Worker today. We're watching the 500-wheeler bring the massive oil rig ashore. The giant oil rig has finally arrived safely after a very long journey across the open sea. The sky is bright as sunlight shines down on the enormous metal structure lying still, awaiting dismantling. Gently lapping waves against the barge create a soft murmur in the vast harbor. The engineering team is meticulously discussing the plan to move this super heavy machine onto solid ground. They need an incredibly large piece of equipment to support the rig's weight without damaging the harbor foundation. That's when the modular self-propelled truck system with its hundreds of wheels begins to appear. This colossal vehicle looks like a mechanical centipede crawling forward with immense power. The roar of the engine echoes throughout the space, signaling the start of an extremely difficult operation. Each wheel can rotate independently, allowing the machine to maneuver flexibly through very tight corners. Workers in reflective vests are carefully inspecting every small detail on the truck's undercarriage system. The hydraulic system begins to operate by several tens of centimeters in preparation. The giant vehicle slowly reverses, entering the narrow space beneath the bottom of the large barge. Every operation must be extremely precise, as even a very small mistake could be disastrous. The commander, holding a walkie-talkie, continuously issues decisive orders to coordinate the entire team. Hundreds of wheels simultaneously rotate horizontally, creating an incredibly bizarre spectacle, like a performance. The power of modern technology has transformed the seemingly impossible into reality right before our eyes. The thousands of tons of weight of the drilling rig now rest entirely on these sturdy wheel axles, echoed deafeningly in the vast, sun-drenched harbor. The vehicle began its first few meters, carrying an entire steel city out of the sea. It moved so slowly that it was barely noticeable to the naked eye, yet its power was immense. The rhythmic clanging of the tracks, synchronized with the massive machine's movement, created a beautiful melody. Houses surrounding the harbor looked tiny in comparison to the steel structure advancing inland. The enormous shadow of the oil rig obscured a vast area, creating an overwhelming sense of awe. Dust billowed from the dry ground under the pressure of hundreds of tires grinding against the hard pavement. The driver sat in the small cab, controlling an incredibly powerful mechanical monster. The control panel flashed with countless technical parameters, allowing the operator to closely monitor every movement. Thick black smoke billowed out in powerful bursts as the engine strained to pull the machine. The seamless coordination between humans and machinery created an immense engineering marvel. The giant drilling rig was gradually moving away from the water's edge, heading deeper into the safe dismantling area above. From a distance, this steel structure resembled an impenetrable fortress marching across the land. Rust-covered oil pipelines intertwined, forming a complex network on the massive rig's hull. The bright yellow paint had peeled off in many places, revealing heavily corroded steel underneath. Every detail on the oil rig carries a long story of years of tireless operation at sea. The 500-wheeled vehicle continues its relentless advance, showing no signs of fatigue despite its enormous weight. That's it, E. Blek, hint, brown. The self-balancing hydraulic suspension system maintains absolute stability when traversing steep slopes. No matter how rough the road surface, the top of the vehicle remains perfectly flat. Large steel plates are carefully laid beneath the road surface to distribute pressure and protect the very hard ground. Each time the wheels roll over the steel plates, a rumbling sound like a train is heard. The immense pressure causes even the thick steel plates to bend slightly before returning to their original shape. Security personnel are sealing off the entire surrounding area to ensure there are no risks. The midday sun shines directly down on the port, causing beads of sweat to trickle down the foreheads of the young engineers. Their eyes never leave the slightest movement of the transport vehicle. Moving such a massive weight required incredibly detailed and precise calculations. The strong sea breeze gently shook the red warning flags atop the oil rig. The colossal steel structure slowed the main gate of the port and into the iron storage area. The surrounding space seemed to hold its breath at the awe-inspiring sight of the enormous machine majestically moving past. The wheels continuously change direction rhythmically to navigate the obstacles scattered along the path. This self-propelled truck is a masterpiece of heavy machinery manufacturing engineering worldwide. Thanks to it, humanity can conquer seemingly insurmountable limits. The journey to relocate the oil rig continues with the absolute precision and rhythm of the entire team. A series of beeping warning sounds echoed repeatedly whenever the rig was about to make a very tight turn. The massive concrete blocks on either side of the road seemed tiny compared to the enormous width of the drilling rig. Seagulls soared overhead, occasionally calling out as if welcoming the steel structure ashore. Sunlight shimmered on the puddles left after last night's rain at the harbor. The mechanic was using a flashlight to carefully inspect the hydraulic joints for oil leaks. Everything was still functioning perfectly, demonstrating the meticulous preparation of the engineering team. Looked like a moving Chris Brownton, slowly devouring the distance to its final destination. Each rotation of the wheels carried unparalleled power, crushing everything in its path under its immense weight. This scene left anyone witnessing it overwhelmed by the boundless capabilities of humanity. The sun began to set, casting long, enormous shadows of the oil rig onto the ground. Pale yellow sunlight, a singular beauty of the massive, aging metal structure. The demolition site appeared before them, with countless sheet metal cutters and cranes waiting. This would be the final resting place of the oil rig after decades of dedicated service at sea. The truck began to slow down, moving into the pre-marked position painted red. Workers on the site quickly cleared the last obstacles to make way for the machine. The engine roared one last time before slowly cooling down, signaling the completion of the move. The commander raised his hand, signaling the entire system to stop precisely at the center. The screeching brakes sent a cloud of dust billowing into the air, enveloping the entire vehicle. The drilling rig finally settled in its new position, ready for the arduous dismantling process. The hydraulic system activated once again, but this time to slowly lower the entire frame. The enormous weight was gradually transferred from the truck onto the sturdy concrete supports. A dry metallic clang echoed as the bottom of the rig officially touched the shoreline supports. The truck had successfully completed its historic mission safely and with perfect precision. Mechanics breathed a sigh of relief, wiping away the sweat from their mud-stained faces. They exchanged firm handshakes to celebrate the success of a difficult relocation operation. The truck gently reversed and withdrew from under the rig, leaving the colossal steel structure standing tall on the shore. The giant wheels, now freed from their 1,000-ton weight, slowly rolled away from the site. The demolition site now resembles a mechanical battlefield with the presence of massive steel structures. Engineers began implementing a detailed dismantling plan, promising many new challenges ahead. Giant cranes slowly raised their steel arms, preparing to dissect the metal monster. Sparks from welding began to fly, illuminating a corner of the sky as night fell. Deafening sound of metal cutters ripped through the night, signaling the end of an era. Each piece of the rig will be disassembled, sorted, and recycled for future projects. The cycle of metal continues, giving new life to materials that were once considered waste. Today's relocation is not only a feat of engineering, but also a testament to strength. We have shared moments of suspense and awe before this greatness. Carrying a 1,000-ton block of steel will surely be etched in our minds. Thank you for following this spectacular journey with us all this time. Goodbye, and see you again in the next Demolition Worker video featuring amazing giant machines.